Hey guys, Perry here, back with another Cosmic Exploration Guide. In my first video detailing the Miner and Botanist mission selection for the relics, I received several comments asking for help on stellar repair materials and how to grind it. That video was vague on details for how to complete it, since I had intended that video to be primarily about mission selection rather than technique, so I shortened that section considerably. So to make up for it, this video is going to be all about stellar repair materials and my own methodology for farming it. Let's get to it. First, let's talk about gear. The minimum stat threshold for the strat I will discuss is 4,419 Gathering and 4,411 Perception, as below these numbers, Meticulous Prospector and Scour fall out of range for the rotations we'll use. As long as you're above these numbers, you should be able to apply the methods I'll show. This is the absolute bare minimum though. As usual, I recommend having the Teamcraft high tier meld set for all cosmic activities. This will make the strat most effective and save you the most time. Additionally, on the topic of gear, the level 90 Lodestar tools, and more recently the Cosmic tools, have a special buff that grants a flat 20% increase to Collector's Intuition rate. I highly recommend using one of these if you have them available and can still meet the stat thresholds while using them. Now, on to our method. The goal for this mission is to collect 10 Moonlit Aether Sand, which is obtained by ethereally reducing the lunar yellow quartz you can find at the node. At max collectability, each quartz is guaranteed to give 2 Aether Sand, with a chance that you'll get a bonus of 2 from each one. This means that at most we will need 5 max collectible items, and at minimum we will need 3. Additionally, because of our time constraints to achieve the gold star, I don't recommend visiting more than 4 nodes, as this will make timing tight. With all this in mind, we have a good framework in which to make our rotations. Here is a flowchart detailing the first of 2 rotations I will demonstrate. As I mentioned earlier, the 20% bonus from the relics is a huge upgrade. As a result, we have 2 different strategies depending on whether you can achieve 100% Collector's Intuition chance with Collector's Focus, which is only obtainable using one of the relics. You can find a link to both charts in the video description below. Both rotations are designed to give the maximum number of chances at Meticulous Prospector procs while guaranteeing max collectability and completion within 4 nodes. You can find the minimum stat requirements on the left side of each chart, and take note the required perception for the version using the relic is higher than the other variant. So, let's get to using this. Before the mission start, eat your preferred gathering food. I recommend nasi goreng, which currently gives the highest GP value, but if you have lower tier stats, you may find another food works better. This isn't a requirement, just helpful. Here you can see I'm using the Lodestar level 90 pickaxe, and my stats are above the thresholds on the side of the chart. So we're good to go and we begin. We begin at the top of the chart in the nodes 1 through 3 section. We will approach the first 3 nodes the exact same way. After the first Meticulous Prospector, we check collectability, and since 290 is below 381, we take the top path. The next step is Collector's Focus, which guarantees an Intuition proc on the next swing since we have the Relic buff, followed by another Meticulous Prospector. After this, the third step is always a Scour, and that gives us max collectability while having only spent 100 GP. So, we collect the node and move to the next. At the second node, we move back to the start of our chart and begin again with Meticulous Prospector. This node plays out the same as the first, although we get 1 less item due to worse RNG. Now we run to the third node. Since there is a longer distance between the node pairs, it's a good idea to try and sneak in a couple ethereal reductions while you run to the next set if you can. You won't be able to use the automatic reduction function, but sometimes if your RNG is extra good, you can save some time by completing the mission early. At the third node, we again start at the beginning of the chart and follow the steps. On this particular run, this node's Intuition RNG ends up being identical to the first 2, so you'll see we take the same steps. After the third node is complete, now we finish our ethereal reduction. On this run, we got 4 items from the first 3 nodes, and we get lucky and get a bonus from reduction, meaning we complete the mission without needing to visit the 4th node at all. If we hadn't gotten the bonus from reduction, we would have ended up with a guaranteed 8 Aether Sands, meaning we'd have moved to the bottom right section of our chart where we would run the final node without using any GP. Now, for the purposes of demonstration, here's an example of a node where we follow the second path in our chart. After the first Meticulous Prospector, we see that we got the random intuition proc and have 390 collectability, so our next step is simply another Meticulous Prospector. This also grants us the RNG proc, and we get to use a third Meticulous to finish off our collectability and collect. This RNG is better for us than the other line, because it gives us an extra chance to save durability on the node. Now, I don't want to make this video too long, so I can't show every permutation of the flowchart. However, as a brief review of the final section of our chart that we didn't get to see, here it is. We used this section when we only ended up with less than 8 Aether Sands after reducing the quartz from the first 3 nodes. You'll notice that it's nearly identical to the first 3 nodes. You'll use the same decision making for the first 3 hits. However, before you do the final collect, if your RNG was particularly bad for the first 3 and for the reduction, and you only have 1 hit on the node left, Solid Reason will give us the final extra item we need to complete the mission, at the cost of some extra GP. And that pretty much wraps up version 1. Now we'll move on to version 2. Here is the flowchart we will use if we either don't have a relic available, or if we cannot meet the stat requirement on the other chart while using one. You can see that this version only requires the bare minimum stats that I mentioned earlier. Note that if you do have a relic available and just can't meet the stats, it's still probably advantageous to use it, as the additional intuition percentage chance will help you save GP with this method. In this chart, since we can't make Collector's Focus give us a 100% chance, it's not worth using, so our decision making changes a bit. Our focus is still on giving us the most chances to proc Meticulous Prospector, but it will use a bit more GP this way, as we will take advantage of Scrutiny instead when RNG does not favor us. Alright, let's see it in action. Here we are at the first node. This method always opens with 2 Meticulous Prospectors. After we've used it twice, we check collectability. In this case, we didn't get any intuition procs, and we have a rating of 580, so we move to that section of the chart and see we have to use Scrutiny to make up the difference. Thankfully, Scrutiny is powerful enough that we don't need to use Scour, and can instead use another Meticulous to finish off collectability. Now on to node 2, which plays out the same way, requiring us to use Scrutiny due to not getting any intuition procs. However, we do get a Meticulous proc, netting us an extra quartz. Moving to the third node, just like the other method, it's a little bit of a time save to get some reduction in while running if you can. After opening the third node, we again start with 2 Meticulous Prospector uses, but this time we get an Intuition proc, meaning we can save GP by not using Scrutiny and instead just using Scour to finish the collectability. This node gives us 2 items, but we also got a reduction bonus previously, so there's no need to visit the 4th node. As you can see, both of these methods frequently complete the mission before the 4th node is even needed when you have high tier stats. However, in the case that you do, the decision making for the 4th node in this version works the same way as the Relic version. If you ended up with less than 8 Aether Sand before the 4th node, the first 3 hits on the 4th node follow the same chart as the nodes 1 through 3. And before you collect, you just need to see whether you need to use a skill that adds items to the node. If you had 8 Aether Sand, you only need 1 item from the 4th node and can follow the simple bottom right chart. And that pretty much covers it all. If you have any questions or if anything is unclear about the charts, or if you have any suggestions, feel free to post in the comments. I hope you guys found this helpful, and best of luck on your relic grinding. Additionally, big thanks to Kokoluma Momaluma on Coeurl, whose assistance with data collection on this mission was invaluable in helping me release this in a timely manner. Coming up soon will be a comprehensive guide on farming class points, so keep an eye on the channel for that. And if you like this content and want to see more, I appreciate any subscribers as they'll help me grow the channel and continue making guides like this. Thanks again for watching, and see you next time.